All right, what is happening, Chargers faithful? All right, we want to talk in this one. The Chargers got back to back to back to back. Good news. Really interesting. Prisco came out on CBS Sports. CBS Sports every offseason does a top 100 players in the NFL list. Usually there's a TV special about this somewhere. ESPN does one. PFF does one. A lot of people do it. But CBS has not one, not two, not three, but 4 Chargers. Which Chargers do you think made it? And is there a couple of Chargers who should? And are there a couple more Chargers that I absolutely think will make it in future years? All of that is yeses, and we'll talk about that. But let me know right now, before I even get into it, which players do you think made the top 100? And at the end, leave a comment and let me know which players you think should have made the top 100. All right, and to help you out a little bit, here is your team. All right, here's your team. Here's what you're looking at. Which one of these players do you think made it? We'll get into that just a little bit. But before I roll in there, I want to actually go to the list itself. And it is honestly, it's a pretty cool list, if I can be honest. And I think, it makes some sense. A running back cracked the top 5. There's 4 QBs in the top 10, but there's 5 or 6 running backs who make it, letting us know that the running back is back in the NFL. The running back is absolutely back in the NFL, which I'm excited to see. It's back. So we're going to get into this here real quick, and I'll let you just kind of we'll just roll through it really quickly. And I'll just I'll throw it up on the screen. All right, so you have Patrick Mahomes. That makes sense, I guess. You have Myles Garrett, Saquon Barkley. Justin Jefferson, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. These are our first defensive players. Surtain, Micah Parsons. All of this makes sense. TJ Watt, Lane Johnson, Mailata, right? So there's not anybody that's in this top 25 for you. Now, I think you have an argument to be in a top 20 over Tristan Wirfs when you find out who your guy is. You have Penei Sewell, who should never be behind Tristan Wirfs. Hey, if you're new to this channel, we are Lions fans. And, hey, we followed you and the Chargers when Harbaugh went because we're Michigan fans too. Always enjoyed watching the Chargers grow up. Really appreciate you paying attention and watching the channel here a little bit. Brock Bowers already at 22. That's really quick. Stingley, Sauce, Kittle. All right, so when we're about to hit your first guy. Tyreek Hill at 30 is an overrated at this point. And the first player we are going to see is Rashawn Slater. This makes sense. He had a little bit of a resurgence this year, which was really, really good to see. And coming off of last season, he was number 69 on this list. So he moved up 31 spots. And I think that's the only reason he's not ahead of a couple of other tackles is because he had a down year. But last year, he was fantastic. All right, you have Bijan Robinson. The reason I'm talking about all of these running backs is I want people to know. All right, Christian McCaffrey. You got tight ends, Trey McBride, Chris Lindstrom, Thomas, Neighbors, McDuffie, Danielle Hunter, Quinnen Williams. All right, and now we get to our second guy, Justin Herbert. Now, here's the question that I have for everybody. How does Justin Herbert go from being rated number 41 last season to being rated 49 this year? Look, I don't understand. Look, I get it. He didn't throw for like 4,500 to 5,000 yards. He only threw for 3,870. There are some injuries that he was dealing with, but he had a touchdown to interception ratio of 28 touchdowns to 3 picks. That's unbelievable. In the last 4 games, he threw for 9 touchdowns. Look, he is awesome. But again, all they say is, but he needs to win the playoffs. Well, yeah. And now that he's starting to get a supporting cast that is worthy of making the playoffs, he might start winning in the playoffs. So you have 2 guys in the top 50, which means you still have 2 more that aren't in the top 50. All right, another running back, Jonathan Taylor. Just crazy, some of these guys that continue to make the list to me. All right, so let's just keep going until we find your next guy. And by the way, there's people sometimes like Amon-Ra St. Brown that's down there below guys who have just been rookie wide receivers for a year. That's nuts to me, but that's okay. This isn't a Lions one. This is we are here to talk about the Chargers. So Nico Collins down here, underrated as well. I just, as I see these things, there's some that just kind of make me shake my head. Now, it's going to be a second here. Your next two guys are, I believe, both in the 90s. We'll see here in a second. And you are going to have, the first one is Ladd McConkey. After just one rookie year, catching almost 1,200 yards, 82 passes, 7 touchdowns, and he went off, especially in the back half of the year and in the team's playoff game. You have to understand why he made this list. He is going to be a phenomenal slot receiver for them, and they clearly envision him as a slot receiver. They have the next 3 best receivers on this team are very clear outside wide receivers. Ladd McConkey is going to be getting the vast majority of his work in the slot, and he is going to continue to rip defenses apart from that slot. It is very exciting to see. So you have one more player who made this, and it's Derwin James. So what I think is kind of cool, and what you start to see in first year under Harbaugh, is you start to see guys that they didn't have the greatest year in 2023. Rashawn Slater had one of his worst years in 2023. Derwin James had a disappointing 2023. And then when Harbaugh comes in, brings the new coaching staff in, Jesse Minter on the defensive side, all of a sudden there's this resurgence. There's this resurgence for these players who then become top 100 players. And it's pretty impressive to me. Now, I want to do something before we finish this up, because I think there's other players who absolutely should be on here. One of them is Khalil Mack. I understand that he's getting older. He is still a top 100 player in the NFL. All right, he is not dead. All right, he's not dead. He is a top 100 player in the NFL, and I think he deserves to be on there. All right, another player that's the one guy who I also think should be on there. Nobody else I think should be on there right now. But I'm going to give you a couple people to look for in the very near future. Joe Alt is going to take a big step up. I expect his PFF grade to go from a 75.9, which is basically a 76. I expect him to be over an 85 next year. And I think he sneaks in the top 100 because tackle is a premier position. Another player, we saw so many running backs in the top 50 and in the top 100. If this guy right here, Marion Hampton, starts doing what we all think he could do and what his athletic profile shows, I think you have 2 guys that could be added to that top 100 for sure next year. 2 more guys. Now, here's the good news about that as well. There are 32 teams in the NFL. All right, when I go ahead and multiply that out, 32 times 3 is 96. Each team, if everything was an even playing field, would have 3 players in the top 100. That means the Chargers have not just a good roster, because I think we all know that the roster as a whole is pretty good, but they have some good star power as well. That's the beautiful thing to look forward to as a Chargers fan. All right, hey, thank you all for watching so much. Hope you like it. Hit that subscribe button, and maybe we'll see you on the next one. See ya.